Hey there, Ephraim from LP3 Cronus here, and today we are going to be covering a war recap from ARMYGT, another level 6 clan, who put up a really good fight. They used almost all their attacks, and it ended up being a really close war. So we'll just quickly scroll through the 2 stars that they had for us, a couple of 3s here and there, but for the most part it was our 3 stars that really pulled us out of the fire. We had 12 3-stars that really saved us. Not saved us, but that's what we do, and that's why we won. So in today's video, I wanted to show you a couple of attacks that I don't usually focus on. We really like to do hybrids here in Chronos, and we really feel like hybrids are the way to go. Those are the safest attacks, they're the strongest attacks, and they're the best to get 3 stars. But in this case, we had a bunch of attacks that were not hybrids, namely GoWiWi, GoWipe, that turned into 3 stars, and those are the ones I want to cover and talk about for a minute. So the first one I want to watch is from Tim. And the reason this attack was successful is take a look at this base, and Tim diagnosed it perfectly. He has a balloon for each mortar, and you'll see him drop the balloon on each mortar, and each balloon is going to be enough to take out the mortar. A 1-for-1 trade on defenses on troops per defense, sorry. And this base basically has no real splash damage anymore. Wizard towers are going to be distracted by the golems, and GoWiWi is going to be perfect for this scenario. He has 6 witches, they make 8 skeletons each, that's 48 skeletons running around, and with all that splash damage gone, he is free to run through the space, and we'll just speed through it quickly, and you'll see that even though a bunch of the skeletons go around, the fact that the splash damage is basically non-existent, the skeletons are going to overwhelm all the defenses, and his heroes and his golems and his wizards and his witches are just going to work their way through the space and tear it to shreds. It also obviously helped that the space was wide open and that there were no walls really for his troops to get stuck on, and we're going to see that that's a huge component for GoWiWi in the next raid. So good 3-star from Tim. Wasn't a hybrid, but he diagnosed the base correctly and was able to get the 3-star. The next base I wanted to show you was, I think it was 25 actually. Yeah, Deacon. And I'm just going to pause this for a second so that you can take a look at the space. If I asked you how many compartments there are in the space, you might say, well, there's 4 on each of the sides, and then there's 1 ring, and then there's 1 in the middle, so maybe 6. There's really only 2 compartments in the space. If you take a look at the side compartments, all of them have low hit point structures, no storages, and no defenses, meaning the golems are never going to get distracted or even stuck on the wall there. So the golems are going to basically be going for 2 compartments, the ring and this middle compartment here. The side compartments also don't have enough walls to prevent wizards or the queen from shooting over it, which means that essentially none of the troops are going to get stuck on any walls after he breaks in initially. So he's going to put down a couple wall breakers and a jump spell to get his golems in, and you can tell 3 aisles basically, 1 in the middle and then 2 along the sides that are going to be perfect for his golems. And Deacon spreads out his witches perfectly. He puts, I believe it's 5 in the middle and then 2 or 3 on each corner, just to back up his golems and to move along those corridors. He's a jump spell to get right in the middle, and then he's another one to get into the center compartment. And because of the way the space is laid out with essentially really only 2 compartments, GoWiWi is the perfect strategy for this base. I think a hybrid probably would have worked as well, but in this scenario he had all of his troops just running wild, and witches are notorious for getting stuck on walls as well as golems. So in a base like this where there are really no walls to deal with, a GoWiWi is going to be super, super effective. Deacon diagnosed it correctly and was able to tear through this base for a 3-star. We'll just fast forward to the rest of the cleanup here, and you'll see he's still got, how many witches still up? 6 witches, 5 witches, and that's obviously going to be enough tanking for his heroes, even not the highest level, to get the job done. We'll take a look at one more attack. Where was it here? Yeah. 32 from Rot, one of our leaders. And now when you see this base, I wouldn't necessarily diagnose it as a GoWipe base right away. It's got a lot of compartments, a lot of small walls, and spread out defenses. It's not something I would necessarily have picked for a GoWipe, but Rot goes in anyway. And you'll notice his spell composition is not the regular GoWipe spell composition. Normally, when you watch like Chief Pat or those other YouTubers do it, they'll bring a heal instead of a third rage. And that heal is for the wizards, who often are susceptible to splash damage. As you saw, they just got hit by a mortar a second ago. And almost always a heal is what they'll throw down in the center along with a rage to keep those wizards up. But here he opts to bring a third rage, and I think this is actually what gets him the raid. So we'll see his P.E.K.K.A. and all of his heroes were funneled perfectly into the middle, and they're bashing on walls there. And walls really are a big factor in a GoWipe raid because P.E.K.K.A.s take a long time per swipe, and they can really get rained on by defenses. And I'll take a pause here and just show you how many defenses are targeting them in the center. You've got Archer Tower, Tesla, Wizard Tower, Mortar, Tesla, Wizard Tower, all focused in on the center here. Rot drops this rage spell, which I think allows them to accelerate through beating on those walls and to take down those defenses before they get ripped to shreds. You'll see that P.E.K.K.A. has almost no health, and it just went down. A wizard's at very, very little health. That P.E.K.K.A.'s dead already, and without that rage, I think they would have been stuck on the wall long enough to really let this raid peter out. And since he had that third rage instead of a heal, it was enough to get them through that wall and onto the rest of the defenses. And his heroes are going to do the rest of the cleanup work here. He's got a couple of max wizards from his clan castle still walking around on the outside. We'll just fast forward here, and that's going to be the raid. So GoWipe and GoWiWi are not necessarily the best strategies on every base, and I would certainly recommend going for a hybrid first. But on some bases, GoWiWi and GoWipe are correct, and apparently and obviously they work. So again, the important part of this video, the important takeaway I want you to realize is scouting your bases. Like the first base, Tim saw that he could eliminate all the splash damage. If you can eliminate all the splash damage, then GoWiWi might be an excellent choice. The second base, Deacon saw that there was two basically wide open compartments and there was going to be no walls for any of his troops to get stuck on. Great for GoWiWi. I might have used Valks, but either way. And those are the kinds of things that you should be really looking out for in your raid. So Cronus is really happy with the way wars are going. We're on a pretty hot streak. If you saw our Warlog, we're in the middle of another war with Battle Goats. It's going to start soon, so we're looking forward to that. So I hope you enjoyed, and thanks so much for watching.